This is the Western Obsessions TV podcast, where hunting's not a hobby, it's an obsession. All right, guys, this is the Western Obsessions TV podcast. I'm your host, Kurt Belding, and this podcast is brought to you by the Top Predator, a fitness archery challenge. Do you have what it takes to be the top predator? Online sales or entry fees are registration is open now at thetoppredator.com. All right, guys, welcome to the Western Obsessions TV podcast. Again, I'm Kurt Belding. I've got a guest today, Mr. Gil Cordova. He is my taxidermist, and we're going to talk about some taxidermy stuff and whatever else we get into. So, Gil, what's going on, man? How are you?
How you doing?
I'm good. I see you got you're in your shop right now, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I see a rug, a skin on the back wall. What is that? Is that a bear?
Himalayan tar rug.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That's on the bucket list.
There you go, man.
All right, man. Well, let's talk some taxidermy today, man. I definitely want to give some value to anybody watching about, to learn a little bit more about taxidermy, what it entails, maybe some things that like they can do out in the field to help. Because I know like I've definitely messed up some capes in the past, not doing things right, not skinning things right. So, but yeah, man, but wherever we go with this, we go with it. I know like we like to ramble a lot, man. We did some podcasts over the weekend. This was last weekend, right? At the Sportsman Expo.
Yeah, that was fun, man. I think we had some great conversations this week. We met some good people too. People I didn't know.
Yeah. I think podcasts are just a great way to get to know someone, man. You spend an hour just chatting with them. Like this is better than any in-person meeting or anything else you can do besides maybe go have some beers with somebody. We should be having beers right now.
I mean, we could do it right now. I can't. I'm on a diet, remember?
Oh, that's right. I give you a diet.
Yeah. I can have one or two, but no, I'm just. But yeah, to get the taxidermy stuff, you already know the story behind my tax.
But listeners might not know the story. How'd you get into taxidermy? Tell the listeners.
Just bad taxidermy. I pay attention to detail when we're out hunting. Ever since I was a kid, you shoot an animal, and I would look at the way the eyes were and the nose, and I've always was interested in the taxidermy. And just seeing you go to Cabela's, some of that taxidermy over there is horrible. Go to these places, it's old. Maybe some of it's old and just bad tanning, bad forms. It's just old stuff. So I got into it because I wanted to do good taxidermy. And we hunt so much with my dad, my grandpa, my kids. My grandpa's passed away now, but that's where I learned with them guys. But just, I don't know. I always liked the art about it, wanted to give it to other people, giving people nice memory back. Because there's nothing worse, I think, than, having all that high from the hunt and then taking it to a taxidermist and then getting it back and being disappointed. I've been there. So yeah. I wanted to start a business myself. I tried to do the best job I could, and it's been great. It's been successful. Super busy. Yeah.
Like I would say you're one of the top taxidermists in Colorado, and that's why I bring my stuff to you. But basically what you're saying is, man, is like from you seeing a bunch of bad taxidermy, you decide you wanted to start your own business in doing taxidermy. How did you get your start though? You don't just like one day rent a building and start doing taxidermy. Though.
No.
Like, you have to learn how to do that, right?
Yeah. So actually, I was going to go to school to do taxidermy, and it was really expensive at the time. So I started calling taxidermists around in town, and Bill Huber, you might have met Bill Huber.
Maybe.
He told me, sure, come down, and I'm not going to teach you for free, but you're going to pay for an elk hide and a form and, get a set of horns, which I got a set of horns from a friend of mine that had an elk ranch. And he says, you'll pay me what it cost me to do this mount. And I said, okay. That was maybe back then, $700, $800 is what it cost me to learn. And after that, I was going over every week. We were doing different animals, and that's where I learned the basics of it. And then from there, a good friend of mine, Dave Maston, and one of my best friends, Angus Timmons, so we all shared a shop together. And those guys had a lot more experience than me, and I learned a lot from them. And then from there, I started getting a lot more clients. Had good friends passing on the word. My cousin at No Limit Archery, Phil, that was a big help because he knows everybody there, and I started getting a lot of their clients, and then their clients were passing on their clients, and before you know it, it's where we are today. We have a good name. Of course, everybody has those clients that we can never please, but it's just part of the business. But all in all, it's been awesome. I was actually into computer networking, and we have a construction company. So I got rid of doing all that stuff to do this.
So you quit a construction job, computer networking construction job. Is that what you said?
Well, no, I was doing computer networking for a while.
Okay.
And then, no, but we own a construction company, my dad and the family.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I'm glad I don't do that no more.
Yeah, I grew up doing some construction. My dad did a lot of roofing and siding, just more all residential stuff, but I grew up doing it, and it's very hard work, man. I mean, it's rewarding work because you can see what you've accomplished, but
yeah,
I'm glad I don't do that anymore also.
I miss it in the summer. I do. I miss it in the summer a little bit, being out there with the guys and pouring some concrete and watch my dad yell at us and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah. So from there, I mean, and I've been trying to donate a lot. We donate to the Division of Wildlife programs. I donate to the veterans. Actually, Sean Sanders and them guys are coming down tomorrow from the Bailey Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. We're going to donate to them. But I'd like to give back a lot with what we're doing.
It's good, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important, especially as you reach success. It's important to give back and help other people, whether it be donating a head or some taxidermy work here, or doing one for free for someone, or whatever you're doing to do. I know you do a lot of stuff of like taking people hunting and stuff like that, and we'll definitely get into that. But that's really good stuff. But I think a lot of hunters may be watching this, and me as a hunter, I think I would like to know maybe some good tips of things that we can do in the field to help you as our taxidermist. One, so we're not screwing anything up, but two, to help you to be able to do things better with the hide or what else, man? What's some good tips that we can do in the field?
The best thing is like let's just use a deer as an example.
Mm-hmm.
The back of the deer right here has two different hairs, right?
Okay. Yeah.
The colored and the dark and the white hair.
Mm-hmm.
So you always come up the back, start at the elbow, come up that seam, well, not the elbow, but you know what I'm talking about. There's a joint down here. You come up to its elbow, I guess it'd be called. Once you get there, then you start heading straight back toward the butt area. A lot of hunters, where they mess up is they come up the front leg, and then they take out all this underarm stuff, and then that's why we call it a short cape, and we can't use it because all the underarm hair is gone.
Oh, so like they go up right up the armpit.
Exactly.
Saying. Yeah, they go the armpit of the deer, so they cut out too much of the hide.
Yep. Yeah. So if you come up the back of the leg, come to the elbow, and then head straight towards the butt, then what you do is you come from the back of the skull straight down the back, and it goes to, like, I like to say, the last rib, and come around and meet up to the one that you went straight back to the butt, and then everything will peel forward. Okay. And then take it to the very back of the skull, and you can get your knife in there and twist the head off. If you don't feel comfortable caping it out, the best thing to do is keep it cool. Treat it like just like your meat. This way, when you can get it to us, if you can find a local butcher over there wherever you're hunting that could freeze it for you in the time being, like places like Brothers used to do that for people, AGP and Craig. You leave them there in their cooler until you're done hunting, because maybe you kill the deer on the first day and you're still hunting elk. A lot of people, they'll do it for free or give them a tip or something.
Right. So that's a deer. You would recommend the same process on an elk or antelope or anything, right?
Yeah. Any antlered species, horn species, Yeah.
No. What if you want to do like a full body mount? Like, what do you do with that?
Then you just go all the way down the back of the, like if on the antlered stuff, you go all the way down the back from the skull all the way down to the tail, and then just start pulling everything out. You'd go up each leg, the back of each leg, up as far as you can to tube it out and pull them out, because you can break the legs off at the joint
Mm-hmm.
and then pull everything off that way.
So tube the legs, don't cut up the backside of the legs.
Yeah,
That's what you're
you
saying.
can come up the backside of the legs just to the elbow
Yeah.
to where you get there and cut that, skin around, break the knuckle off down
Mhm.
here at the hoof part.
Yeah.
And then how you cut up in here and you break the legs off?
Uh-huh.
You do that, then you could pull your hide over the broken leg nail. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you'll pop it right out that tube. Is what you're
Exactly.
saying. Yeah.
Yep.
All
And I
right.
think I I don't know if we talked about this while you were there at the show or not, but we're talking about making a video for skinning, put
Yeah.
up on the website.
I think that would be super important. That way, one, people don't have to go find a different hide because they messed up their hide. And
Yeah.
they, like it kind of sucks messing up a hide because it's not your actual animal's hide. So it's
Yeah.
not as that, it's still fine, but you don't get that nostalgia of like that is the animal's hide that you'd shot or whatever, right?
Yeah. I think it takes a couple of times of messing one up for the person to really take their time, and even after the first time of messing one up, they'll do a better job the next time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things you can't control too, with like antelope season, early bear seasons when it's really hot.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as that animal is dead, you need to get it cool down. We lose a
Yeah.
lot of antelope throughout the year that go bad.
You lose a lot of hides because they
Yeah.
get too warm.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
guys, they'll kill the antelope, throw it in the back of the truck, drive around for 6 hours looking for another one.
Yeah.
So.
They go bad that quick, huh? 6 hours and that hide could be bad.
Oh, if it's hot, yeah, that antelope can go bad. The meat could go bad on an antelope that fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize the hide would go bad that fast too.
Yeah.
It's good to know. So what about what about the skull? I know one, I don't, man, it takes so much time and energy to cape out the skull of an animal.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times I'll just break the head off and bring back the whole skull with the cape still on it and let you guys do that. What do you guys feel about that?
That's how we prefer it if the guy doesn't know what he's doing. Because if you start putting more holes and giving it extra eyeballs back here, But again, that's some education stuff we would like to do this year. We wanted to do it last year, but we got too busy right away.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, maybe I can go out to one of the outfitters, shoot a ram, shoot something, and then bring it back, freeze it for a couple days, and then have a seminar here of who wants to learn how to cape something off a head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that would be really helpful, man. Is
think so.
It's for sure a video that you could put on your website where people can go there and learn how to field dress and cape, in the field. You might be, backpacking in,
Mhm.
without a lot of resources and it's on the ground and you have to learn how to do that so you don't mess it up or.
Well, there's a lot of high country hunters now, wilderness hunters out there.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that are going to do like your top predator challenge. A lot of those guys are going to be way back there, so it's probably helpful for them to know how to cape it off the head.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually get to hide off the skull and yeah. Yeah, for sure. What do you think, man? Any other pointers and tips you can think that for someone in the field?
Just keeping it cool,
Yeah.
Treat it like you're going to eat it. That's what all of us taxidermists say. Treat it like you're going to eat it, and you'll be fine.
So what about dirt and leaves and sticks and crap?
Man, on the outside, it's okay because you're dragging it sometimes, and try to keep it clean on the inside. You don't want that to rot, get bacteria. Keep the skin when you fold it back up. Keeps it nice and cool.
Okay.
Don't let it dry out. That's what's going to help, not to dry out the membrane underneath.
That's a good point too. Fold it up skin to skin so it stays cool. You say it's clean, doesn't dry out. There you go, guys. That's a pretty good gem right there from Gil. So what you say you got into this industry because you're tired of bad taxidermy. What makes taxidermy bad and what makes it good? What do you think?
Lack of effort. I think a lot of it, lack of effort, lack of wanting to learn more. A lot of the taxidermists, I've met over the years, especially the older guys now, they're stuck in their ways. And actually a good friend of mine's a taxidermist, Mike Skeeters. he told me he went to a show, and this is what hit him is the judge told him you need to grow with the times, and that's what I do. I like to try different stuff, different forms, like your access deer.
Mhm.
Something different, something artistic. You know, and a lot of it too, man, is just rushing through stuff. Person takes their time and goes back and checks the animal, then most likely it's going to come out great. You have to
Yeah,
have an
and
eye for it too. You can't just, not everybody can just be a taxidermist.
right. It's like an artist. Like not everyone can be an artist. The same thing, not
Yeah.
everyone can be a taxidermist because I believe really good taxidermy, you are an artist. Like you got to have the vision, you got to have the skill, you got to have the know-how, and put all that together and make a really cool piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm. Now, like I hear eyes are a big thing. That's a big indifferentiator. You pointing
They
at
are.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
This is how everybody used to say, hey, you need to look at live reference, live reference, live reference. But if you look at a live animal, sometimes they're ugly, bulging eyes. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
So where I learned a lot of getting better was I would look up different taxidermists on the internet of who I liked and tried to mimic their eyes, mimic how they did their noses, the colors, and stuff that I thought I would love to hang on my wall.
Hmm.
That's really how I taught myself. Same thing with fish. I took a couple of lessons um, with fish, and same thing. Just close your eyes and see how you see it after you pull it out of the water. That's how I try to paint them too. You know, uh, I don't know. It,
Yeah. Well, how? Okay, we're talking about the older guys kind of stuck in their ways. How has
yeah,
taxidermy evolved over the years? What are like the new techniques or new materials or whatever?
just the forms, the stuff that we have now is so much better than the old guys had in the day. The stuff they had was the best they could do. I mean, we got computers now that could 3D print something.
Yeah. Did
The
you use like a
sculptors
3D
better.
print of a form? That would be
That's
cool.
what I think that's how. I mean, some sculptors sculpt them by hand, right off the skull. But it's just everything's just how it is. Everything evolves. Like basketball players nowadays whoop on the basketball players from the '70s. It's just because everything is evolving.
Yeah.
Just so much more better shoes, right?
Well, that's a big part of it. Better equipment, right?
Yeah.
So better forms. Any other material that is like upgraded and
Oh
better?
yeah, better eyeballs, better ear
Hmm.
liners. The adhesives are better. Everything's just better. The epoxies,
Yeah.
paints that you have, airbrushes. The tools are there for anybody that wants to learn to be good.
Hmm. I've
Hmm.
seen some of those like really old mounts that I don't know if it was like the hide finally kind of giving or whatever, but it just looks absolutely terrible, right?
Tanning. That was the old tanning.
Probably was that what it is? Those really old mounts that just look
Yeah.
terrible.
And then they're in places sometimes that will get hot and cold and hot and cold and hot, and those hides will rehydrate and they'll dry and rehydrate and dry. That's why I tell people don't put their mounts in their garage. You put it in the
Mhm.
garage, it's going to get warm and cold. Before you know it, it's going to look bad.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. I'll take
Yeah.
all my garage mounts out right
Better
now.
get them out. I see
I'm
room
just
back
kidding.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of these back here, I think. Well, you've done at least one of them over here. I got another one over here. I
Yeah.
can't see that you've done. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I've seen some of those old and even like the antlers of like discolored and like can
Yeah.
you save those? I'm obviously you can get a new hide, new form, new hide. Maybe
Yeah. And just take
recolor
the
the
antlers off and just redo it. We do a lot of that refurbish stuff.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I think that I got that. I don't know if you can see in the background this deer right over here.
Needs to be redone, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can tell,
Yeah. You
huh? You can tell.
gotta have some whitetail capes.
Yeah, he was done a long time ago, man. So, and it was kind of a favor for me for the guy to do it. So, it didn't
That's
turn
cool.
out that great, but
I,
I
I,
still
I
have.
like taxidermy like that, man. Some of my buddies have some of the first stuff I've done for them. Then
Mm-hmm.
they have the recent stuff I've done from. And every time I go in their house, man, I just
Do you
want to.
cringe?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. My friend has one of the very first mounts I've ever did, and I look at it and I'm just like, dude, that thing's scary looking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, as you continue to do stuff, you get better. Like I was actually uploading some episodes to Carbon TV today, and I'm
Yeah.
looking through all my old episodes, and I'm like, oh my god, I filmed this so bad. It's terrible. You just get better as you do stuff. Instead
No.
of
Yeah.
filming and being an artist like you are. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot of it. It's learning every day, down from the taxidermy, learning how to be better with the business too. There's a lot of stuff I learn every day.
hmm yeah, the business side of taxidermy too. So here's
That's
where I think
hard.
it's yeah. You got not only do you have to make good artwork, but you also have to be a good business person to run a taxidermy shop, or even like the taxidermists doing it out of their garage, because that's probably the majority of taxidermists that you see do it out of their garage in their part time and their spare time. There's not a lot. I don't think
Yeah.
there's a lot of guys that do it full time like you do. Is that correct, or am I way off?
Not anymore.
hmm
I mean, it's hard. It's a hard business because everybody wants their stuff back perfect, but they also want their stuff back tomorrow. And
Yeah.
that's impossible. You can't do both. We have some of the same customers call every single day for the same thing. And it's like, I have to let them know, well, if you want something nice back, you got to be patient.
hmm
Taxidermy is one of the things, is you got to be patient. And then with the way times are now, getting materials and get the stuff you need to complete it, it's hard. It's going to be a little bit longer for everybody.
Yeah.
But
Well, let's explain that to people that maybe have not experienced taxidermy stuff that might be
mhm.
watching this. That's one of the biggest things. Like, God, why does it take so long? I know some taxidermists, it's like almost 3 years before you get your stuff back. You
Yeah.
do a really good job, man, on getting most stuff back within a year or year and a half, I would say.
Yeah, we try to do it faster, but again, this last year we usually, we have our time frames that we're pretty close with.
hmm
But dude, there was double the hunters this year, and it was just like everybody, all the taxidermists got overwhelmed with skulls.
hmm
We got a lot of shoulder mounts like usual, but a lot of skulls, and
When
it
you say
seems like
skulls, do you mean like European mounts, Euro
European
mounts?
mounts. Yeah.
Yeah, which are so if for someone that not maybe not understand that is watching us, it's when you either boil off all the meat off the skull or you have beetles eat the meat,
Yes.
basically, right? And you
Yeah.
get just the bone of the skull and the holes and the horns on it.
Yeah. And see, we like to beetle ours because they come out so much nicer that way.
Well, that's one of my questions I had down is what's the difference? And we'll jump. I'll ask this question, then we'll jump back in the other question that we're talking
Sure.
about. But what's the difference between the beetle and the boil, and why does one turn out better than the
Yeah, the beetles they clean everything, down to the bone, of course. So does boiling, but you get all your nasal cavities, you get all the detail. They're a little bit more work though. Then now we got to degrease them, for multiple days. It's not just like the beetles. Let's whiten it and you're done. And that's what some guys think. Well, it's just a skull. It's that easy. It's really not. Not to get them back nice.
other? hmm
Um, and then boiling, you're boiling it in its own grease. So later on, then boiled skulls, if not degreased properly, also are going to have grease coming out through the head, the nose. You ever heard somebody say, that thing used to be white, but now it's starting to turn yellow?
hmm
It's because it was probably boiled. And we do boils for customers that are really wanting them back impatiently,
Yeah.
but it's not the best thing. We like to beetle them, make them
Okay.
white, make them nice.
So what you're saying is the beetle can pick that bone clean more efficiently, so you get all your little navel cavity
Exactly.
bones back. And boiling, you may lose a little bit of that, is what you're saying.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And then
And
either
some of them
way.
come out great, man. Some of them come out great. Some of the boils we do, we take our time on them still too,
hmm
but for the impatient customer, that's the best way to go. It's
Yeah.
just boil it from.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah,
a messy job too, man.
it
I've done
is.
a couple of myself, and it is absolutely worth the money for me to drop that off with you and say, give me a euro, man. I don't want to do it
Yeah.
myself ever again. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. It's a lot of work. It's time consuming.
hmm
It's really time consuming. And now with as many hunters there is in Colorado hunting,
Yeah.
all those taxidermists are going to be, overflowing with them skulls.
Yeah. And that's why I think a lot of people go to a Euro mount is it's cost effective for them. It doesn't cost quite as much
Yeah.
to do a Euro mount rather than like a big shoulder mount or something like that.
Mhm.
Nicer, but um, all right. Before I start jumping on to too many different questions, the question that I had asked, what's the difference between beetle and the boil? Beetle's cleaner than the boil. Sometimes you lose a little bit on the boil, but
Yeah.
either way, both of them you got to
They both come
degrease
out
both of
nice.
them.
They're
Yeah, they're
both
both.
skulls, at the end of the
Yeah,
day. Depends what you want to do with it, If you're just going to throw it in your garage and look at the antlers every time you pull in, a boil's okay to go with.
yeah. But
You know,
you got to degrease both of them.
we degrease both of them, yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
do a peroxide boil grease with the grease with the boil stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So either way, it's a good, um, good way to go. Okay, here's my thought: is let's say that you killed something, super proud of it. You want to preserve that memory, and maybe you just don't feel like you have the amount of money at the time to get like a real nice mount done. So a lot
Yeah.
of people will do a Euro. Oh, I can't afford a big mount. Maybe can't afford $1,500, maybe $2,000 for a pedestal or whatever. I'm going to just Euro it. My thought is like, why not drop it off and say, hey, I want to do it up big and let me make payments to you. Cause I know
Yeah.
cause you have to put a down payment down and then it takes a long time for you guys to do it. It takes, over that year and a half, be making payments. Why don't guys do that?
I don't know. They're all excited when they come off the mountain. Um, the worst one is the one who spends the money on the hunt.
Yeah.
They come down the mountain, then that's when they're like, I don't have enough money to do it. It's the guy that comes off the mountain that didn't spend any money that excited they want to do it. But we offered people to do payments all the time. I think it's just the moment when they bring it in. If they're over at Meat Cleaver, they just
Mm-hmm.
brought it and everybody's looking at it and they know I'm across the street. Yeah, they come and just drop it off right away.
Mm-hmm.
But the longer somebody sits on something, there's a lot of guys that freeze them saying, "Oh, I'll mount it later." And I have them there. Well, I've had this in my freezer for 2 years. Now I decided I want to mount it. You know,
What's the difference? I mean, is that still okay to mount after sitting in the freezer that
yeah,
long?
as long as it doesn't get freeze dried, the years and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, we're pretty lenient with most people. They need a couple of weeks to put some money down and stuff. But at the same time, we're a business too that we have multiple employees here, so we have to
Oh yeah, for sure.
also run the business. But
Well, I know like the heads that I've dropped off, it's you put down a deposit on it and then you pay for the rest when it's done. So,
yeah,
someone had enough money to put down the deposit, but maybe didn't have enough money to finish the rest of it. Well, just, put a couple $100 away each month or give it to you.
yeah,
Here's $300 every month and you'll be able to do that life size or the cool mount with a pedestal, not have to Euro it. Cause the last thing you want to do, man, is like 10 years from now, I was like, God, I have money now. I wish I would have done a life size or a nice pedestal on this animal that I got.
I know.
Yeah.
We get a lot of those. Man, I wish I would have just mounted it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say, well, I got a cape. We can always mount it.
That's true. That's true. I guess if you got the skull and the horns, you could always throw it on a form and have a cape, right? So you still
Yeah.
get it mounted. Yeah. So all right. So people that are not super versed with taxidermy, why does it take so long? Why does it take at least a year to get taxidermy back?
Well, the process starts with we got skin it, flesh it, salt it, right? And then
Yep.
once it leaves our hands, it goes to the tannery. You know, the way of putting it without sounding harsh is there's a lot of customers. So it just goes in line. If I could tan it myself that day and mount it the next day, it'd be done in a couple of days. But what it is you got a hunting season, and during that hunting season, usually at that time you're skinning, flesh, and salting per season, and then you're sending stuff to the tannery, a month later, a month and a half later. And when the tannery checks it in, they have more customers than just us, and it's just a big process.
Right.
That's why it takes usually it takes 4 to 6 months to get your stuff back from the tannery. Um, due to COVID messing everything up, feel bad. A lot of the tanneries lost a lot of help, and they were a year and a half behind. I mean, we're there's some people who haven't still got their stuff in tanning yet. You know, it's just because of the way of the world right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and then once you get it back, you rehydrate the cape, get it measured. Now you got to order the form. Sometimes the form's in stock, sometimes it's not. So that's why it's usually a good to say about a year out
Yeah.
on stuff, you know.
So if you had one animal, right?
Mhm.
If I brought an animal to you, had no one else in line, and you could tan it yourself, you could skin it, flesh it. When we say flesh, it means you guys take all the fat and meat off the hide, make sure and then you salt it. How long does it take to tan? Like, you tan that in a day? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if I knew how to tan it, I mean, you could tan it. It'd take you probably, I don't know how long it takes in the pickle and all that stuff. I would just say good couple of weeks you can have one done for somebody.
Okay, so it takes a couple of weeks to tan. Is
Well,
that,
well,
or
I mean,
no?
just the whole process.
Whole process. Okay.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. Well, and I'm just trying to let people understand the process of this, because like if someone's never done taxidermy before, they drop off their animal like, cool, I want this mounted, and they say, oh, okay, it should be a year and a half before. Like, holy cow, a year! I won't see this thing for a year. Like, that could be a shock to some people that don't understand, don't know it. So just to know
Yeah.
the process better, I think would help people.
Well, and that's why I said the European mounts are the toughest one, because people say, oh, well, it's just a skull. Why can't I get it back in a couple of days or a week? Well, sure we can. We could boil it for you. But if you're going to do the beetle route, with 800 skulls in front of you, that's why it taxidermy. It's just how many people are in front of you.
Yeah.
The first guy's can get his stuff back quicker, but we do our stuff in batches. We won't do just one at a time, or else we'll never finish them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you guys flesh, you salt and flesh for the season, and then you send batches off to the taxidermy. When you get those back, then you rehydrate the hide so you can measure the hide. And once you measure the hide, then you order the form for it, because you can't order the form before you measure it, right? Because
yeah, and the ones you're not working on go back in the freezer until you're ready to work on the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. That is why taxidermy takes so long. It's
Yeah.
really not the process so much. It's more of there's a lot of people getting taxidermy work done.
Yeah. Be nice to your taxidermist.
Yes,
They
be
really
nice
are
to your
trying,
taxidermists. Yeah. It's not that they're lazy and they don't work hard and they forgot about your shit and lost your stuff, which, I mean, I'm sure that
I've had people call me. Yeah, I'm just checking on my mount just to make sure you guys still have it. Like, well, what would I have done with it? I don't want it.
Yeah.
Especially hides, man. So
yeah. Well, that's just people that don't know the process, man. I understand, like it's a long process. You want it back because you're so anxious to have that animal back and put it up and showcase it and show it off, that like,
as a hunter, I have patience with my customers because I know the feeling.
mm-hmm.
It's just after phone call, and then you try to let them know, hey, we'll call you when it's done. And then they call again 2 days later, and then 2 days later, and 2 days later. Those are the guys that you guys be nice to your taxidermist. I'm telling you.
I'm not saying that you do this, but do you think this happens if someone keeps calling? And I know this guy or girl that's calling is like, I'm going to keep calling until these guys do my stuff to rush that ahead. Do you think taxidermists say, fine, they grab it and just throw it together real quick and say, here you go.
Yep.
And it doesn't turn out as good as they probably should, right?
Yep. Yep. That's what happens is they get rushed and here, I just need to get this guy out of here because he's going to keep bugging us. And it's best just to be patient. You're going to get a better mount when you're patient.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you guys just did that axis for me and it looks awesome, by the way. And you guys, I didn't call one time to say, Gil, where's my stuff at?
I know.
I've done it before, though. I was that guy before. I know how it is. That's why I can understand, man. That side of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's with anything. I mean, you're not going to go to the meat cleaver and rush them to get your meat done, especially if you're going to eat it, right?
Right. Who knows what they're going to do to it?
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, you go out to dinner.
You want garlic? You want garlic in there? Okay.
Yeah, you go out to dinner and order a burger and you're yelling at the kitchen staff to get that burger done. Well, they're going to spit in your burger. Don't let your taxidermist spit in your hide, all right?
Put some boogers in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So in mounting, I know we could jump off on other topics, man. I just got a lot of questions about taxidermy.
Sure, you can keep asking.
What's your favorite mount to do?
My gosh, let's see. I like mounting lions, big mule deer, big whitetails.
Yeah. Why
Not
is
as
it?
like I like elk too, but not the lions just because trying to make it look like a cat.
It's
There ain't a
tough.
very many actors that could do it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's hard to do. I've seen some bad cats, mainly
yeah.
bobcats that look like cartoon characters.
Cross-eyed.
Yeah, cross-eyed. They literally look like a cartoon character. I'm like, ooh, man, bad
That's
cat.
the taxidermist that doesn't study the anatomy of it.
Mm,
Bobcat's eyes are actually in like that and canted out. So if you do it that way, they won't be cross-eyed. But if you just set them in or straight up, they'll be cross-eyed because their pupils are up and down, just like that.
right,
Yeah.
right. See, guys. All right, here this goes. I'm not. Wait, I'm not going to jump to the next question because I've been jumping around so damn much, man.
All right.
Anyway, you like the cats. You like the big whitetail. You like big mule deer. Why big whitetail? But why big mule deer?
I don't know, man. They just look nice, bro.
They look cool, huh?
Whitetail is probably my favorite to do. Everyone's different. There
That's
ain't a
true.
whitetail cape that looks the same. Um, all the antlers are way different than each other usually. They're
Yeah.
just different. And then hunting them, they're just that species they're weird animal, bro. You know what I'm talking about. They're not like hunting mule deer. They're kind of that elusive ghost all the time. When you're hunting whitetail.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing that
Mhm.
I realize now living in the western part of the United States here in Colorado. I grew up in Nebraska hunting whitetail since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So when I moved out here west, all I wanted to do was hunt elk and mule deer and everything that this had to offer out here. And I
Mhm.
could care less about whitetail anymore, man. But like you guys
Really?
that grew up here in the mid or in the western part, and you guys grew up elk hunting and mule deer, like you guys are
Yeah.
crazy about whitetail hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It,
I don't know. That's how it happens with me when I hunt mule deer sometimes.
yeah.
I like if you're in a good unit and there's a chance for a big buck, then it's awesome.
Hmm.
But whitetail, you never know what you're going to see.
Yeah, that's true, especially in the rut because those
Yeah,
big guys, man, you won't see those big bucks all year long. They'll stay nocturnal or like they're in a hole that they're just living in. Come rut, man, they're running all over the place. You can see a big deer, but yeah, I don't know, man. I just grew up hunting them, so I was like, whatever. I know big whitetail's big whitetail, whatever. They're all kind of the same to me. But a big
yeah.
muley, man, with a big old wide spread, real thick, 200-inch mule deer or
You
elk, like
standing there watching you.
yeah, yeah, big
Yeah,
old 350-pound body. I think that's super cool. But
yeah.
all right, man. Hey, what makes or not? How if you're out there and you kill something, right? And you've not researched a taxidermist, what would you do to find a good taxidermist? What is the telltale signs of like, oh, don't go to him because of those things?
you know, Mainly like the hunting forum stuff. I would ask there. I wouldn't go to somebody's and look up taxidermists and then read all their stuff because, like I said, people are hard to please.
Hmm.
It's just like going to a restaurant. I would advise people just to go into the shop beforehand if you can. That's the best way. I mean, but if you don't know a taxidermist, ask around, man. There's plenty of friends out there plenty of people online, that have good experiences with people.
Yeah, so basically just ask around and go into the shop, see some of the work they've done, and make sure you like it. Right.
Yeah, that's what I would do, because and there is some good taxidermists out there. There's a lot of fly by nights too. Um, the main thing is if they're cheap, that's where I stay away.
Hmm.
You're not going to get good taxidermy for cheap. And if that's the type of guy you want to be, I don't want to pay a lot for a mount, then I wouldn't even spend the money to mount it at that point. You
Right.
know, yeah, because you're going to get something back that's going to fall apart or just doesn't look right.
Right. No, that's like a really good point, man, because I'm frugal. just like a lot of people are super frugal. So when you're looking around for a taxidermist and you're like, all right, this guy said he'll do a deer shoulder mount for me for $600, but this guy says it's 800, 850 or whatever. Man, I should just go with the $600 guy. But what people don't understand and realize that's the amount you're going to have the rest of your life. Like, why not spend the extra couple $100 to get it done nice?
And you got to think about it too. The cheaper guy is going to find cheaper material. He's going to try to find the cheapest form he can, cheapest eyes, cheapest adhesives, so he can make money at that cheaper rate.
Mm-hmm.
Us, we use the best glue. We try to use the best eyes that we like. I won't go get the most expensive eyes because you can't. To me, that's just for detail work. Like your elk has the expensive eyes, like something like that, of course. But the standard shoulder mount, we put really nice eyes in them. Good ear liners. The tanning is good. That's what a quality taxidermist is going to do for you.
Yeah. So basically, the cheaper guy is going to find all the cheaper material to be able to make money, and then it's going to fall apart, and then it's not going to look as good because of the cheapest eyes, the cheapest ears, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, that's we get a lot of fixes over here. People bring stuff in, even stuff that they just picked up, and like I said, they got that disappointed feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And then they come right through our door that we just got this done. It looks horrible. Can you remount it? It's like, well, didn't you do your research beforehand?
Yeah. Well, I understand, man. If you don't know much about taxidermy and you've never been there, you've never taken a head in, it's I'm price shopping. I don't know what's good and what's not. Like, if you saw me, 10 years ago, whatever, if I looked at a couple mounts, one may look a little bit weird to me and the other one looks okay. I don't know, like, oh, those eyes are better than those, or like he did better with this. I had no clue, right? Until I started hanging out with you a little bit in the taxidermy shop to really know the difference. So like your average consumer, your average person doesn't really know the difference. So guys, if you're listening, you don't know the difference, I get it. Just go to the guy that's not the cheapest, maybe not go to the guy that's most expensive, find the guy in the middle and make sure you get some references too.
Yeah, and see, we're a commercial shop, so we're catering more to the working man. The middle of the ground. We're not cheap, but we're not super expensive. Because here in Denver, we got a little bit of everybody. We have people who can afford it. We have people who can't afford it. So I try to keep to where everybody has a chance to be able to, afford it. Because, man, you start looking around the United States at do it when we get off. Just start pricing some taxidermy all over the place. There's some super crazy prices. And that's when I think you better give somebody what they paid for at that point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, it better be gold lined.
It better be gold. Yeah.
Something.
Right? But yeah, we're that commercial side, here. But if somebody wants a competition piece, of course we'll give it to them. But competition piece, one deer will take you 30, 40 hours, after mounting and babysitting. And
what's the difference between your commercial piece and your competition piece?
40 hours.
Just way more time on it.
Yeah.
Paying attention to detail.
Yeah. If we did that, we'd be out of business. If we did that for every piece,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So if anybody tells you they're giving you a competition piece for a commercial price,
they're full of shit, huh?
They're full of it. Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, hopefully we really covered that taxidermy piece. You want to talk anything else about taxidermy? I know you you guys don't know this probably too well, but me and Gil become pretty good friends and we talk a lot of business stuff. So he has like an idea a week that he runs by me.
Got like 20 different businesses going right now.
No,
actually, the most exciting is the one we're working on now. So,
you want to talk about that, or you want to keep that secret for now?
No, we could. Everybody. Well, some of the people already know. I'm a Hanwag boot dealer.
Mm-hmm.
Here, we're trying to take that to the next level. With more apparel, more hunting outdoor stuff that we could supply our customers, like the velvet lock stuff that I'm now a dealer for.
Yeah.
Because I get so many phone calls before muzzleloader season, archery season. Gil, what do you need me to do with the velvet? Most time it's like shoot it and bring it to me like ASAP. But I'm trying to make it easier on our hunters. Now we're going to have the velvet lock products that they can take out in the field, spray it on the velvet, make the hunter feel a little bit better while he's out there. Same thing with the hide lock. Same things in case they get scared of they can't get it to a butcher shop to freeze it. Also, I want to get into brand and apparel stuff.
Mhm.
So you're building a website for me now
Mhm.
where I want to start catering to the people I hang out with, that style of outdoor stuff, backpacks, knives, anything that we would need, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, guys, Gil's here local in Denver, Colorado. And if you go into his shop, he does have some Hanwag boots in his shop, but he is
Mhm.
building out a website that's going to be housing Hanwag boots, the new velvet stuff. You have some apparel, like a whole
Yeah.
bunch. Basically, it's going to be like a website for all outdoorsmen stuff that you're
Yep.
not going to find everywhere. So,
Yeah. Like I said, the biggest one I'm working on, I want to see if we could be a Fial Raven dealer too. I
that'd be
love their
cool.
clothing. Yeah. Their outdoor clothing's awesome.
Hmm.
Um, some Western Obsession gear on there.
There you go.
Out of
Some
bounds
Western
gear
obsessions.
that
Yeah.
Santino has. I thought I had that on. I had it on yesterday. Um, but yeah, that's kind of one of the things I've been wanting to do is build an outdoor apparel store.
Hmm.
I thought now's the time to do it.
So will this store be mainly e-commerce store, like on just a website, or you don't have a bunch in your shop?
No, we'll have some here. I want to make focus on the website. This way I could drop ship it more to people out of my shop.
Hmm.
Have it here and send Jill out. Jill, go ship this. Go ship this. Go ship this.
Yeah.
But no, I want it to become successful to where I can have a storefront one day.
Yeah.
You know.
And what'd be cool? I'm just kind of shooting from the hip here is like you keep that taxidermy theme in,
Yeah,
like, let's say it's 5 years down the road and you have a actual retail shop and you have a whole bunch of taxidermy in there. I think that'd be super cool.
that would be coffee and internet. Remember coffee
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
internet.
Coffee, internet, cool taxidermy, and a whole bunch of outdoor gear
Yeah,
nearby. Yeah. That'd be
but
super cool.
so yeah, that, and then we started the podcast now, right? So
That's right. Yeah. Have you named that podcast yet?
it's Boot Tracks Outdoors also.
Boot Track Outdoors podcast and Boot Tracks. Sorry, say it again. I think I'm saying it
Yeah,
wrong.
Boot Tracks. You said it right.
Boot Tracks. Yeah. Boot
Yeah.
Tracks is the website. Boottracksoutdoors.com is the website, coming soon
Yep.
whenever me and Gil figure out how to get it all together. So,
Well, we figured
uh,
out how to use it. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah.
So that's yeah. The podcast I thought went successful over the week. With the help of you and Santino, and
Mhm.
we had some great people, man. I some of the conversations we had with people were great. Youth conservation stuff.
Mhm.
I think that's important for everybody. Like we talked about, I think only 20% of all the hunters maybe really cared. Everybody cares about conservation, but I mean, everybody needs to get in and help. I don't think 20 years from now it's going to look too good if we don't.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
I mean, you're right about the conservation period. Like hunters have to get louder in that aspect for sure. And
yeah,
for reference, guys, we were at the Sportsman's Expo here in Denver, Colorado, and we ran a podcast out of Gil's booth, and it was pretty cool. It was fun, man. We just had a lot of cool people in there
yeah,
chatting. Where are you going to house that podcast? Because they're not out there yet. Are you going to put it on, like, start a YouTube channel and put it there, or like, what do you
yeah.
think?
I think we're going to try to hit all of the podcast for what
Spotify,
Spotify.
iTunes, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's going to be called Boot Tracks podcast,
outdoor.
right? Outdoors
Yeah,
podcast. Yeah, cool.
yeah. I'd like to. I think we host you and Santino all the time that talk topics. But remember, the main point was I have a lifetime supply of podcast customers here that
Hmm.
like to bring people in to talk about their hunts. You
Yep.
know,
Tell them about the story, because there's always a
now,
story in
or
every hunt, man, which is
there's
super cool.
good and bad ones, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
good and bad, but they're both great. Even if it's a bad story, like one got away or whatever, like it's still a cool hunting story.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So yeah, that's really it. Like I said, we're really focusing hard on getting the taxidermy stuff done. But on my free time, like I said, I've been really wanting to get this apparel thing going and the boot company going.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about hunting this year, man?
I still haven't put my tags in.
You got a couple days left.
I know. My kids are all over the place, man, where they want to go, but I think we got it nailed down. I'm gonna probably put them in tonight.
Do you want to just give out some coordinates right now over the podcast and where you're going to be hunting?
Sure. Go downtown Denver. There's a couple parks over there. There's a lot of geese, man.
A lot of geese, man. You could limit out real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, been wanting to, we talked about I'd like to do a video again because you did a video of Brian, my son, earlier in the year or last year. Last year?
Last year or 2 years ago, so I can't remember.
Yeah, he looks really young on it. It's funny. I'd like to do another one of those with you, with one want to hunt together. And
yeah, that would be great, man. That'd be super cool. Whether it be me, you, and hunting, or kids hunting, either way, man. I think
or fishing, we could do whatever.
Yeah, I would be down for all that. I got to get out and do some more fishing this year too. I did a little bit last year, but just not a ton. But
dude, I haven't fished in a while. We've been so busy here, and we're busy with baseball, right?
Yeah, you're not that, like, obviously you stay kind of busy year round with a taxidermy shop because you just have so much to do.
Mm-hmm.
But really baseball is what kept you super busy in the summertime, huh?
Oh yeah. We got practice tonight too.
Yeah. So you guys are listening. Gil's kids plays baseball and he coaches also. So
yeah. Try to be the dad. Try to be super dad, man. And they work here at the shop.
You can only do so much, man. You do good, man. You do good.
Thank you.
All right, man. Well, anything else you want to talk about before we let our listeners go?
I think we covered a lot until
we did
next week. Maybe we think something else.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll do a few more. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe all on your podcast, huh?
Then I can ask you a lot of questions.
That would be awesome. You can drill me.
Hey man, what did you shoot that elk again?
Yeah. I think that I think we gave some really good gems for people that are maybe don't really know much about the taxidermy world, and maybe some good things that you can do out in the field to not screw up your cape, bring it back to taxidermy.
They can always call and ask questions, Yeah. This time of year, the phones are, when they're ringing, people, we give voicemails and call people back because we're so busy. But, send a text message too and say, hey, I want to learn how to skin. Can I come by the shop and take a look at the shop, see what you guys got going? I got a bear hunt coming up at Full Bore or something. Mm-hmm. Want to come look at your stuff? Yeah. You got a bear hunt coming up, don't you?
I do. I got a bear hunt with those guys in May. I'm excited about it, man. I'm super especially meeting Chris over this weekend, dude. The guy's nuts, man. That's
fun. He is. He's a blast. That's if anybody's looking for a good outfitter, that's the perfect one to go with, man.
Yeah. So do you want me to put your cell phone number on the screen here so anybody can call you at any time?
Yeah. Be better if
I was joking.
But
I was joking, but I can. Yeah. All right.
Put it right by that bull I mounted right there.
There you go. All right, guys. I'll link up Gil's stuff here so you can call him, message him. If you need a good taxidermist, he's definitely your guy. But just a good dude overall, man. He's helped me out a lot and me growing in the industry. So I appreciate that. And but I think that's about it, Gil, unless you got any burning desires that you want to say right now. What other business can we start? Exactly. We'll wait till next week. You love my phone calls every week, don't you? Uh-huh. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that is the Western Obsessions TV podcast. This week was with Gil Cordova and Adventures Wildlife Studio. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you learned a little bit something about taxidermy on this one, and we'll catch you guys next time. This is the Western Obsessions TV podcast, where hunting's not a hobby, it's an obsession.